calendula. You don't have to guess what that is. I already told you. So this is a calendula patch that I planted some time ago. And what I do with these is after the flowers are spent or I harvest them, then I save those seeds as well. So a lot of these calendulas, I actually don't get to save the seeds on because I use these for soap making. I like to harvest the flowers and I dry the petals out and I put them in our lemongrass soap, which some of you may have had or have experienced. But when I don't do that, I leave them on here so that the seeds, or excuse me, the flower heads can just spin out. So here's one, for example. If you can see that, you can see I did not harvest this one and the flower petals are starting to die back. But if you look closer, what you'll see here are you see these little curls that are coming up. That, my good people, those are the seeds. So now these are not ready. These seeds are not yet mature, so I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm actually going to wait and see. Those may not mature because we are changing weather. But let me see if I can find one. And you can see they're everywhere. They're everywhere. So from here, I can harvest all of these seeds. So here's one where you can see the curly points are starting to dry. And see how easy that comes out? So that's a calendula seed. They almost look like half moons, right? Kind of curly. Really neat looking. This one may not even be fully developed as a seed because it's still relatively moist. I'm trying to see if I can find. Okay, so here we go. Here we got one right here. So here's a spent head. You can see it's completely brown, very dry. All I have to do is gently rub my thumb over it and it's gonna fall apart in my hand. This is how I collect the seed. You always think the calendula seeds look like little caterpillars. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They do look like little caterpillars, kind of curled up. And so this is how I collect seed. Now from here, I do one of two things. Sometimes I'll take them and I'll put them in a canning jar, or I'll set them out so they can dry a little bit longer. But most of the time, what I like to do to create less work is I just take them and I broadcast them somewhere else in the garden. So I kind of harvest them and then I plant them again right away. These are really easy to grow. Once you get a calendula patch going, it's pretty much going to take care of itself because these seeds will fall through the rain. They're really good for just reseeding themselves. This plant is. If you don't know, calendula petals are also edible. They're actually in the marigold family. And these petals are edible, so I like to add them to salads. Especially if I'm dining or entertaining people, it's always a great conversational piece. Most people don't think of a flower as food, but certainly flowers can be and are good for food. So I like to do that as well. I've also infused them in olive oil and made calendula oils, in which I will then take and use in a salve for healing of the skin. It's really good for that. So lots of uses of calendula. So if you don't know about calendula, if you don't have calendula growing in your space, it's one of the easier flowers, and I consider it an herbal ally to grow. So definitely keep that in mind. Right here next to the calendulas,